What is up, guys? Welcome into it as we start another day. It's a Tuesday. Greatest day of the week. I don't care what anyone says. By far the greatest day of the whole week. Oh, yeah. Someone keeps messing with my levels in the studio, man. My headphones are blasting. I don't need it to be that loud. Thank you very much. What's up? Yeah, we're getting everything going here on the... I think we're live. Are we live? Making sure. Oh, we're live on one.
Till broadcast. Not
live on the other. It helps if I actually hit the play button. I don't know what the weather's like in your area, but it's snowing here in the Wichita, Kansas area. And I love it. We're actually getting somewhat of a winter. I didn't know if we would this year or not. Didn't know what we'd look like, but hey, we're here. 4 inches of snowfall down in Oklahoma. I love it.
Till broadcast.
I love it. Still more falling. Yeah, it stopped right now, but we're supposed to get some more later. Let's see here. Let me roll through the different social media because we're up now officially. Getter. You guys are killing it, man. If you're watching on the Getter, you need to get the Getter because highly recommend getting the Getter. We are live on there. So if you guys are watching, first off, welcome. And that is on the Ops Lens page.
30 seconds till broadcast.
We've had a lot of great feedback from that one. We're on the audio for the Podbean. Scott, what's up? We got the Facebook going now, officially. Hold on. I need to share that one out. Yeah, it helps when I actually share it out sometimes. All right, if you guys are on there, like it out, share it out. Let's have some fun, man. It's a Wednesday, or Tuesday. It's not Wednesday yet. It's Tuesday. We got a lot to get to, so we'll have some fun.
5,
Hang
4,
tight.
3, 2, 1. Begin transmission.
Fighting for freedom every day.
Republicans right now, the conservatives, which unfortunately, this is what we have to do every time, even after a vote where people are sick and tired of the establishment, they're sick and tired of the squeezy, middle-of-the-road, squishy kind of Republican rhinos, and we vote conservatives in, then we have to fight tooth and nail in D.C. to actually be heard within the Republican Party.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hold on, it helps if I actually change my screen here. Hey, what's up? Welcome into the program. It's a pre-post, not a post. It's not a pre. It's a post Monday. It's a Tuesday. We'll just say it that way. Welcome into the show. Holy cow. Sorry, I'm all kerfluffle after seeing the end of the world's right around the corner. Did you hear? The doomsday clock has ticked one step closer to the end, and therefore you just need to pack it up. You just need to give up right now. You need to just get right with whatever you believe in, and you just need to get ready for the end of times. Because, by golly, it is here. According to the atomic experts, the atomic scientists, we are one step closer to midnight, which midnight apparently is the strike of the clock where it is the end of the world, as we are 90 seconds away to midnight. Now, I don't know how they judge these things. Not quite sure how they actually gauge this. They look at the current events of the world and they try and take it down, and it's been slow moving. That doesn't mean in 90 seconds we're all going to die, although that would be really interesting. If you're listening to this broadcast at the end of the day when the world ends, then I applaud you, and you are my favoriteest friend in the entire world. If this is what you're listening to when the world actually falls, that would be awesome. And we'll keep you apprised of everything going on when the world falls as well. Get ready for that zombie apocalypse. I am prepared. I've watched all 11 seasons of The Walking Dead, so I know what to do when it actually happens. Welcome into the show. This is The Voice of Reason. I am Andy Hooser, broadcasting live out of the heart of the nation here in Wichita, Kansas. on our flagship radio station all over the country, though multiple radio stations, TV, live streaming, and podcasting. However you watch or listen, we love you to death. Your Millennial General reporting for duty. So we had the Doomsday Clock. There's a lot to get to today, by the way. We have Gordon Knight coming on the program. He is author of the book, The Deep Six Diaries, with his ongoing battle of the Canadian government with small business. And apparently the Canadian government's trying to ban his book not only in Canada, but here in the U.S. as well, which is quite fascinating. So we'll talk with him coming up at the bottom of the hour regarding his book and his fight for liberty, justice, and freedom from the tyrannical oppression of the Canadian government. We'll get to that here in just a little bit. There's a lot to talk about, but right now, of course, this has got to be the biggest story of the day, right? I mean, the end of the world's coming. We need to be prepared.
What's trending today?
As according to Yahoo News, that we are now 90 seconds away from the Doomsday Clock moving forward, signaling the increased risk of humanity's survival from the nuclear shadow over the Ukrainian conflict and the growing climate crisis. I'm assuming the uptick changed after the whole World Economic Forum and Al Gore ranting about climate change garbage and how the world's going to end when his timetable obviously wasn't happening and didn't work. But apparently now we're 90 seconds away. I remember when I was in high school and I took my first government class. And for those that don't know, this was not my original choice of career because I was supposed to be a super smart guy. And by super smart guy, meaning I was planning to work for NASA. I love astronomy. I love space. I was memorizing the constellations. I was taking physics classes and astrophysics and quantum physics and everything else. That was going to be my career choice of field, which is why I'm kind of a nerd on this program, because I enjoy those things. Then I took a government class and an econ class, and I said, wow, arguing politics is way more fun and way easier. This is what I'm doing. So I kind of shifted gears there, but I really enjoyed that before. And I'm curious how they come up with this as well, because, I mean, why not? Why not? We just, but I remember during the government class, we were talking about the Doomsday Clock. And at that point, I want to say there was like 5 minutes left to it. It was like 3 minutes or 5 minutes. So over the realm of what, I graduated in 2007, that'd be 16 years, I guess. Golly, I'm almost coming up to my 20-year high school anniversary. Stop it. That's coming up way too fast. Come on, man. Where's my, stop it. Stop it now. Thank you, Joe Biden. I didn't get to play. I couldn't find it. I don't know where it's at. I guess we can do this.
Come on, man. Get a life.
All right, that's close enough. Back then, it was like 5 minutes until the end of the world. 3 minutes till the end, whatever it was. Now we're up to 90 seconds. So we're slowly working our way towards it. But what happens when it actually strikes? Will we ever know if it actually strikes midnight? Or will it be like when it falls, be like, haha, we told you it was close? Kind of a weird, I don't know who follows those things as well, but for those that like to live in the doom and gloom and the end of the world paranoia, there it is. You're 90 seconds away from the end of the world, according to the atomic scientists and the Doomsday Clock globally. And I have to give credit to, on the reason why it ticked up to 90 seconds up to the Doomsday Clock, I have to give proper credit where credit is due, where apparently it's former Vice President Mike Pence, who has now as well declared that he has classified documents in his home. Now, I don't know if the reason he made the announcement was because he felt left out. I mean, Donald Trump had him, and the FBI raided his home, and it was a big deal, and everybody wanted Donald Trump to not be able to run for president again because he was a liar, and he was a meanie head, and he had all these classified documents. And now Joe Biden has them, which, a little bit different story. Emerson says, well, it's totally cool because he's working with people and they were aware of it. No, they didn't know about it. And totally different story because he's not supposed to have those because he wasn't president. He was vice president, but we don't need to go down that road again. They're finding new ones left and right as they continue their search. They had a 13-hour search over the weekend, found 6 new, at least, folders full of classified documents. So I don't know if it felt left out, or if we can always just leave it up to Mike Pence to steal away the thunder from the Democrats while they're in the limelight with the bad stuff that they've done. I know we're supposed to work together. I know we're supposed to sing Kumbaya and hold hands and say, well, you know what, we all are at fault here. But Mike Pence, I'm sure that he said, wow, they're really coming after Donald Trump. They came after Joe Biden, which is a bit surprising. I better make sure that I don't have any as well because I'm a squeaky clean kind of guy, and I respect Mike Pence for that. Still mad at him about a certain other things going on as well, and but I still respect the hell out of him. He's still a stand-up, quality, high guy with a lot of morals and values. I get it. I respect the hell out of him, and he probably said, "I need to go through with a fine-tooth comb and just make sure that I don't have anything on my end. Well, apparently he does, which just reiterates the fact that classified documents are a bunch of bogus crap. Everybody's got, I feel like I'm on Oprah right now. You get a pair of classified documents, and you get classified documents, and you get classified documents. But he has some. He's turned them over. Apparently that was back on the 18th, officially making news now, because they were just a few that were in a couple small boxes. He found them. He turned them over. Everything's hunky-dory. It's all done. I don't know if it's due to his ambition to run for president or, again, if he's just trying to be squeaky clean and, hey, I had some and I want to make sure I don't get busted with them because why do we need another one on top of it? So I'm going to do it willingly and just hand them over so that way there's not an issue and we don't have to worry about it. The problem is that the timing was probably the worst part of it because now, while we're all focused on Joe Biden, the current leader of the quote-unquote free world and the current corrupt politician going on in Washington, D.C., who should not have had those, and we're finding more and more of them, that he's kind of stolen the thunder because now the mainstream media is all focused on Mike Pence. Hey, look at that. He had some too. Him and Donald Trump, those administrations were terrible, man. They had all these classified documents. So leave it to Mike Pence to steal the thunder away from Democrats sabotaging themselves and shooting themselves in the foot, which is what he's oh so good at by kind of steering it away and saying, well, let's not be too harsh here because I had some too. Outside of that, I don't really care. I don't care about the classified documents. It doesn't make one bit of difference. The big news today that I think is quite fascinating
What's trending today
is we need to move down to the state of Florida. Obviously, we love the state of Florida right now. Ron DeSantis is killing it as governor down there, especially after his major victory for re-election back in November. I have a forewarning, though, for Ron DeSantis, which I don't think he's too terribly worried about it right now, but it could potentially come a problem down the line, is be careful. And I'm not trying to make a threat or anything. I'm warning you, be careful. His latest focus that he has down in Florida has been against the teachers' unions and against the education system on the public level. That's why I say, be careful. That is all my forewarning. You know what I'm talking about if you've ever been involved with the public education system, with the school administrators, and with the teachers' unions in your state, wherever you may be. You know the power that they have. The best reference we have of this is going up to the state of Wisconsin, if you remember a few years ago, when Governor Scott Walker had to battle off 3 different recall elections, which he was able to do, and then he lost his next general election. It was kind of weird. He fought off 3 different recall votes to get him out of office, and then he loses the general election when it came election time. But it was the recalls were because of the teachers' unions, because he was battling against them to give the teachers freedom of choice in the education system, and kind of pushing back from some of the power that they have as a special interest, as a union, and as a think tank, and as really the special interest that likes to fund a lot of the Democrat candidates in the state. And if you're going after them in Florida, that's cool. I applaud you all the best that I possibly can. Be careful, because it's a very powerful, in fact, it's one of the most powerful unions in the entire nation. Be careful when they come after you. Again, I don't think he's worried about it because he's going after them pretty viciously. But if you haven't heard, he's released his new proposal to the state legislature in the state of Florida called the Teachers' Bill of Rights, where the Teachers' Bill of Rights would challenge the teachers' unions and challenge local school boards, where he says, according to MSN.com, would give teachers the go-ahead to oppose their school boards if they believe their policies were against state law. Meaning, if the school board's promoting some certain agenda in the classroom, and the teachers don't like that certain agenda, they can disrespect it and just disregard it and go about their own agenda by saying that it's against state law, and I'm going to teach the way that I feel I need to as a teacher, not as what the school board or the teachers' union's actually telling me to do. Andrew Spar, the head of the Florida Education Association, which is the biggest teachers' union out there, said that it is to, quote, punish and divide, coming out obviously and opposing the Teachers' Bill of Rights legislation in the state of Florida. Now, it sounds great. And I like the concept and I like the idea, but there's some interesting stuff in this bill. And the teachers, here's the thing. The teachers unions, while they say they're for the teachers, we got to be very clear. They're not for the teachers. They don't stand up for the teachers. They don't actually represent the teachers. They don't have the teachers' best interests in mind. And I know that based on when the teachers unions came out during the Trump administration, when he was trying to propose his tax breaks the first year of his being in office, and the teachers unions fought against it because it would remove the tax breaks and the write-offs that teachers would have for the school supplies that they invest into the classroom. Now, on the surface level, others on the other side of the aisle might be like, well, Andy, that makes sense. I mean, teachers, spending all this money in the classroom, and they should be able to write it off on their taxes. Now, the reality is that if you knew the tax bill in the first place, you should see that they actually got a better tax break to where they wouldn't have to write those off because their taxes were going down in the first place. Number two, though, if you're truly about teachers and teachers' rights and representing the teachers as a teachers' union, then you would fight for that because you should be fighting the local school district by saying that they shouldn't have to invest their own personal money. That is, by the way, very little compared to what they should be making, that they shouldn't be investing their own money into school supplies anyways in the first place. If you really cared about them and really did your damn job, maybe you should be fighting the local school administrators or the local school boards or districts by saying, hey, maybe you shouldn't be having the teachers spend money on the posters or the dry erase markers or whatever else, boxes of tissues or cleaning supplies or sanitation or hand sanitizer, whatever else they're spending on. Maybe the teacher shouldn't be have to be buying that crap out of their own pockets. Just throwing that out there. If you really cared about them, maybe that should be your priority, not hating on Republicans giving them a tax break so they have more money in their pocket at the end of the day. I know that's a strange thought. I know that's a strange concept, but that's maybe the way, if you truly cared about them, on what you should do. We got to take a break. There's a lot to this bill I want to break down when we come back, but there's an interesting piece on how the mainstream media writes about this, and it really shows the true character when they talk about distribution and equality and making everybody fair, on how much they really don't care about that aspect of people's lives. More on that when we come back for The Voice of Reason.
This is The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Andy Hooser here, reminding you not only can you listen to The Voice of Reason on your favorite radio station, but also check out the video of the program on TV and online. We're excited to be working with our partners over at OpsLens to bring The Voice of Reason live every day on their website at opslens.com, on the OpsLens app that you can download on any of your smartphones, or on any of the OpsLens social media. It's a great network that broadcasts multiple shows promoting truth, reason, and common sense, reaching thousands of viewers every day, all day long. Plus, while you're there, you can always watch some of the best highlights of the show during the weekends or read our latest opinion columns on topical issues of the day. Also, if you want to interact with me during the program, just leave a comment on their social media or the OpsLens app stream. You can always join the live chat rooms, or if it's easier, just email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Again, that's HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. This is your show, and we want to hear from you. Why? Because it's time for you to be your own voice of reason in your own community. Looking for more reason? Well, now you can get even more content from The Voice of Reason through our Patreon site. It's your exclusive membership for being the ultimate Hoosier-holic. On our Patreon, you'll get additional interviews and content that we don't get to air on the radio, behind-the-scenes action from the Hooser Media Network, plus one-on-one video streams where you can catch up with me, guests of the show, and other great Voice of Reason supporters. Plus, you can also support the show by checking out our gear and swag. Find the link on our website at HooserReason.com. Again, that's HooserReason.com. Become the ultimate Hoosier-holic. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HooserReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or find our contact information at HooserReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hooser with The Voice of Reason. The show's growing all the time, and as we talk about the big issues of the day, one of the big parts of the program is you. And I want you to join us on the program. Whether you agree, disagree, or just want to relieve some of that political frustration, we're here for you. No matter where you may be watching, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, go ahead and leave a comment on the live stream. Chat with other listeners and let me know your thoughts on the topic. Also chat with us on the Podbean chat room. Just go to our live stream of the show at podbean.com and chat with other listeners. You can also call into the program. Just download the Podbean app onto your smartphone, join the live stream, and call in through the app. This is your show, and we want to hear your thoughts. So go ahead and join us here on The Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with The Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hooserholic by going to HooserReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hooser Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HooserReason.com. For a schedule of upcoming guests on the program, daily show topics, or to reach out to the Hooser Media Network, visit us on the website at HooserReason.com. Or for general inquiries, to be a guest on the program, or to have Andy a guest on your program, email us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Keep fighting for freedom with us every day right here on the Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network. Now, back to the show.
Fighting for freedom every day. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Man, it flies right on by. 24 minutes past the hour. Welcome back into the program, radio, TV, live streaming, and podcasting. So we have Ron DeSantis going after the teachers' unions, which I'm glad. Focus on them, baby. Let's start pushing back against the teachers' unions. Not the teachers themselves are the ones that need the credit. Teachers are not properly being represented through their organizations right now. They are not being taken care of through the school districts in most places across the nation where they don't get the proper wages and compensation. They don't get the resources that they need to in the classroom to do their job efficiently and productively. They don't have what they need to get the job done right. Then we have the new generation of teachers coming in. Not all of them. This is a broad umbrella conversation here, but a lot of them are coming in with an activist mindset, wanting to change things, which is why Ron DeSantis came out and was really pushing back against some of the gender, sexual orientation garbage, which he did, by the way, speak at just earlier today or yesterday regarding this bill and why he's pushing back against some of the gender garbage that's being pushed in the K-12 system.
Having any sexual content in elementary school is inappropriate. It's wrong. And yes, I mean, I think the gender ideology is something that is very problematic when you have very young kids, and if you have a teacher saying, well, what gender would you like to be?
That's a little weird. I don't know if everybody heard that. That was only one channel. I heard that only one side of my ear. So if you didn't, then I apologize for that. But he came out pretty harshly against some of this woke mentality. I saw a study. I saw some memes on social media about how China's teaching their K-12 kids about quantum physics and engineering and how to build apps, and we're teaching kids on what gender they're supposed to be. We have some work to do in our public education system. And by the way, money, as so many other districts around the country like to say, money is not going to be the end-all be-all solved problem here. You can throw as much money at it as you want to. Doesn't help the situation. I'm going to use Kansas for an example because I'm familiar with the funding here in the state of Kansas. I've talked with a lot of organizations like Kansans for Prosperity and some other ones as well. I can't think of them right off the top of my head, but I've talked to a lot of different organizations here in Kansas regarding public education. When I came to Kansas, roughly 2015, they were breaking records because the per student funding per child was matching private school funding at right around $9,000 to $11,000 per student to go to public education. Obviously, the quality of public school wasn't quite matching with the private school quality, but yet somehow, based on our taxpayer money, it was being funded the exact same. Now, so many years later, we've hit $18,000 to $19,000 per student, well above what it costs to take a kid to a private school every year, and yet the quality still isn't there as well. We haven't seen an increase in education quality or test scores or graduation rates. Hasn't happened, but yet it's more expensive. And what do we hear from the school boards? What do we hear from the statewide Board of Education? What do we hear from Democrat legislators that are being funded, by the way, by the special interests of like the teachers unions is, oh yeah, we just need more money. You're not properly funding them. And if we just get more money, then we can actually raise the quality. And we can see how well that's worked because it hasn't worked for so many years with so much more money being funded into the system. What's really fascinating, though, is when we talk about ways to actually make the education system better, like voucher programs or something, school choice. which I believe is it this week? Is School Choice Week across the nation, trying to focus on school choice, allowing kids to go to the school that they want to with a better quality and better opportunity for them as children and as parents, whether it's across the city or whether it's a magnet school or some other place around them where they have a better opportunity for the choice that they want to go to. They're apparently not allowed to do that in some areas because, well, we don't like that. You need to stick in the area that you're in. And I don't get that mentality. I've had Democrat candidates on this program, and I've asked them about school choice, and they've said that was an absolute horrible idea. Their words, a horrible idea to allow kids to be able to choose what school they want to go to and allow them to get into private schools. Private schools should stay private. Public schools should stay public, and that should just be it. That's the Democrat mentality. When I thought they were about equality, I thought they were about equal opportunity for everybody. Blows my mind. That's weird.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You know, when I get off the air every day, the battle for me against limited government, censorship, and even unfactual content is far from over. That's why now I'm so happy to say that the Hooser Media Network is giving you more opportunity to catch the Voice of Reason along with other great shows and podcasts. It's been a long time in the works, and now you can finally enjoy more great content, services, and topical shows. We're the safe space for alternative talk, information, and ideas that the mainstream media absolutely hates. From holistic and alternative medicine, discussions on religion and spirituality, pure entertainment shows, and of course yours truly with the Voice of Reason. Plus, we offer numerous media services, including helping you set up your own podcast. Become your own Voice of Reason and bring your expertise to any fun issue or topic. For information on all of our shows, links to podcasts, each show website or social media link, or to find out about everything we do to challenge the mainstream establishment, visit our website at HooserMedia.com. Again, that's HooserMedia.com, the future of media. Welcome to the Hooser Media Network. It's been a long time coming, and now it's growing bigger and better than we ever imagined. The Hooser Media Network is so much more than just the Voice of Reason. It's a network for you as a listener and you as a podcaster. It's a network for any kind of talk on any kind of topic, bringing podcasters together to give you a new way to think about the world, and it's any type of show from entertainment to educational. Check out all of our great programs, like Dr. Devin Verana with If They Knew.
Yeah, and it gives you tangible tools. I mean, I'm sure she just mentioned that some people might be mad at the government. I just can't imagine.
No.
I think there's a little bit of anger in the world these days, but I was listening to Wayne Dyer this morning, and he said, if you grab an orange and you squeeze it, what comes out? Juice. What kind of juice? Orange juice every time, right? It's not going to be apple juice. It's never going to be mango juice. It's always going to be orange juice. So whatever is in us is going to come out when we're squeezed. And so I'm sure you're learning that, like, taking yourself through this process continually just adds more and more power, more and more depth of compassion and joy and freedom and all those good feeling things, because you're clearing that space out.
Yes, exactly.
I love it. Now take people, so for anybody listening out there that might have an object of anger, whether it's somebody or something or, you know, objects out in the world these days, take us into some tactical, practical things that they can do. Number one, I'm sure, is to come see you, but what are some other things?
So I skipped that one on purpose when I was going through this, but the first book that changed my life, and I listened to it before I signed up for the, I listened to her 1 hour Zoom before I signed up for the class. She was interviewing a man who told us about a book called The Four Agreements. And so then when you get into the class, we study the book called Forgive for Good by Fred Luskin. And we went through a process by Michael Brown called The Presence Process. These are all 3 books. And I hate to be this honest, but let me be this honest. You can read those 3 books and know everything I'm going to teach you. But like any good class, I mean, just because I signed up for a class in college, I buy the books. You really need someone to guide you through them.
That, plus tune into Spiritual Smorgasbord with Desiree and Cheyenne.
It is, and we talked about that because then, of course, other things started to happen after that. Of course, that was not my last doctor's visit, by no means. However, we talked about it, and I thought, our ancestors were so smart. They know, whatever ails us, there's a cure for on this planet. We're just not smart enough to know how to use it, but our ancestors were. We need to get back to that. Modern medicine, basically what that is it is what you get from the plant, the healing benefit, just on steroids with side effects.
Yes.
And so a lot of people, modern medicine is considered sexy. It's fast resolving. It's instant gratification. But, and so like plant-based formula, the raw, natural plant-based formula is what is going to work. It's going to be great. It just takes a while. And people want that instant gratification.
Oh, yes.
So a lot of people try
It's been marketed
something.
to them that way too.
It
They're like,
has.
oh, that's the old way. It's going to take you forever. But if you just take this, you wake up tomorrow and you can have whatever you want.
Exactly.
You can do whatever you want.
But at what cost?
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
my leg is broken, but have some Oxycontin.
Yes.
It's like, dude, your leg is still severely broken. You just can't feel anything.
yeah. And it's like, so let's go to nature. Let's see.
Yeah.
You know what? There's pain relievers in nature. Marijuana is a great pain reliever.
Yes.
For one. I mean, just
mentally and physically.
Yes. Well, I mean, but there's other remedies out there. And everything that ails us, there's a cure for on this planet.
This whole room smells like peppermint.
We're all getting cured.
We're all getting cured right now. It's a beautiful essential oil I bought from a local, I guess you could say, apothecary shelf, but I'm getting healed right now.
Yes, exactly. It is. And it's all around us. We just need to know how to look for it. And I'm sorry, but that's kind of what we were discussing. And that kind of was what started this whole journey. And what I'm very fortunate that, my spouse and I are together on this. It's not just one of us having a spiritual journey. It's that we're doing this together.
Listen to those shows and so much more on our website, where you can find live streaming, links to the podcast, links to social media, more content, and so much more. It's all online at HooserMedia.com.
When Reason Meets Radio. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Where does the time go, my friends? Welcome into the program. Last half hour on the home stretch here, like we do every day on the program. Thanks for hanging out. As always, if you want to find us, you can find us on our social media at Hooser Reason. That's HOOSER Reason. HooserReason.com. All of our social media is all the same, and it's all should be verified on Facebook, on the Tweety, on the Instagram, on the TikTok, on... Hold on here. I have a laundry list of the social media. I want to make sure I give it all here. We got Facebook. We got Telegram. Yes, I am on I don't use Telegram, but I have it. We have our YouTube channel, our Twitter channel, our Getter channel. You need to get the Getter. Got the TikTok, the Instagram, the Truth Social, the LinkedIn, and the Our Freedom book as well. All of them are the same at Hooser Reason. You can find us HOOSER. You can also find the website at HooserReason.com and see all the links there as well. Also want to give a hat tip to our OpsLens family, as they do a lot of our streaming every day, OPSLENS, on their website, OpsLens.com, and their app and their social media. They stream us. We've been getting some killer numbers on there, so thank you guys, and we love you to death. That's my little plug for you. There. Gordon Knight, not able to get a hold of him. So I was talking to, actually during the breaks, was talking to the publicist that had booked our interview and helped us out here. And he's on another interview, so they kind of double booked him. We'll get him rescheduled. Not a big deal, because obviously I haven't made my full point with this issue. Anyway, so we have some more time just to be a little bit more intimate and talk about this education system, which I know is a huge topic, because most people listening to talk radio either have parents, either have kids or grandkids that are in the public education system. And as you can see, the quality of education is going downward. And this is not an attack on the public education teachers out there. This is an attack on the system that they're trying to deal with. It's an attack on you as a teacher if you're into the woke mentality, trying to teach kindergartens about their gender identification. Then we have a problem here, but it's not about you. The problem is you are the victim trying to educate our kids, and we're falling behind with our curriculum. We're falling behind because our standards continue to drop while the cost of it continues to go up. And if you've noticed, all of the funding goes into the inner city areas and the largely populated areas, where that's the worst of all of the curriculum and the quality, and yet they continue to not get any better, which I find quite fascinating. So yeah, we need to focus on this. Now, Ron DeSantis out of Florida has proposed this bill this teachers' rights bill in the state of Florida, which sinks, by the way, a whole lot of money into trying to hire new teachers as well by raising teacher wages, because apparently the state of Florida is ranked number 48th in the nation for the average public school teacher pay. That was as of the latest report for 2021, I believe, 2022. So they're at the bottom of the list. They're sinking $3 billion overall spent on salaries over the past 3 years, according to Ron DeSantis, which is a lot of money. And again, I warn, be careful. While you're focusing on raising the pay for teachers, that's awesome. Let's not turn every state into like the state of Illinois, where the entire two major pieces of your budget go towards the pension plans and education, and then everything else is bankrupt because you can't afford it, and you end up raising taxes to try and cover these, because all the public education teachers are going to need retirement funds and all of the perks that go along with it, and eventually that's going to bog down the system. So you may be doing well right now, but it is something to look at in the long term, which is why we have other conversations regarding the retirement plans that need to be invested in the private sector and making sure it's not a burden onto the taxpayers as the population continues to decline with the lesser amount of individuals that are having kids for the next generation. Nonetheless, that's another conversation for another time. In this bill, as I'm reading this through MSN.com, and I'm reading about this bill, there's an interesting piece in here where it really shows the media bias, I guess you could put it, when it comes to public education and how they like their separation. And I said this going into the break, I've had Democrat candidates come on my show before, mostly for the Kansas area here where I'm at, and we've had candidates on for congressional seats, for example. And one of them we used to have on quite a bit, and we've talked to him and like to do the sparring back and forth about different ideas. As he's a radical left-wing socialist, he brought in AOC and Bernie Sanders, crying out loud, for his campaigns back in the day a few years ago. And he lost horribly because we're not a blue state like that, so he lost miserably. But nonetheless, he brought him in. He was on my program when he specifically said that private schools need to stay private, public schools need to stay public, and there should be no crossing in between. A voucher system, to him, in his own words, was a absolutely horrible idea. And it blew my mind that anyone would actually say that publicly, let alone even believe it. Because you would think that if you're truly about equality, not equity, big difference. We don't set the value for you based on equity. You're not a piece of equity. You're not just a value to the government and a dollar sign on how much you're worth. You're actually a human being that has endless amount of equity, and therefore we're not going to put a price tag on you and a value. The only price tag we can put on people are politicians who get bought off to support certain really, really stupid funding bills when they get certain perks coming out of it themselves. That's when we know their equity. That's when we know how much they actually are worth, because they got bought off for a certain price. Yes, you know who you're talking about and who we're going after. All 18 of you Republicans in the Senate that voted for the $1.7 trillion omnibus package. We're not talking about equity here. That's a stupid way. That's the most racist, slave-like term to ever be used, and I hope that spreads everywhere and you start using that as well. When everyone says, oh, we need to equalize the equity, we need to increase the equity. No. Equity is nothing more than a label of servitude for the government to put a label and a value on you. Period. End of story. We're talking about equality. And if you want true equality, then you can look at the results of the test scores, graduation rates, and quality of education between charter schools, magnet schools, private schools, and public schools, especially in inner city areas. It's a very easy list to look at, and you know that the public schools are at the bottom of the totem pole. And if you're truly about equality, then why in the world would you not be about vouchers to give the kids and say, hey, we're going to give you X amount of money for you to take your kid wherever you want them to go. And now you know that there's going to be a massive waiting list for the private schools, and they're only going to let in the best of the best and try and keep them there. But you know what? If you try to get in and you do get your kid in, then awesome. All the more encouragement and the reason for them to work hard and try and qualify to get into a private school later on down the road. If they can get into a magnet school, if they can get into a charter school, if they can get into something other than the basic K through 12 public school, then great, they can. What that does is when all of the population of these ridiculous inner city public schools goes in the tank and no one wants to go there, two things are going to happen. Either they're going to realize, oh, wow, maybe we should start raising the quality here, and they bring it up a little bit, or they shut them down. And then all those teachers are out of a job, and all those administrators are out of a job. Oh, my God. All the ones behind the scenes pushing the papers. So here's the piece that I found fascinating. According to MSN, when they talk about the new proposals would have to be approved by the legislature in case of changing the Constitution via referendum, yada, yada, yada. His teachers' rights proposal is patterned after the parents' rights that allow parents to ignore COVID restrictions. They go on to talk about, if I can find it again, because I just lost my space. Thank you, ads on MSN.com. Here we go. They come just days after DeSantis and the Education Commissioner, Manny Diaz, made national headlines in banning an AP African American Studies class in the state and announced plans for the state to fund any voucher schools, no matter the income. Now, you would think. I want to read that again to you. This comes after they announced their plans for the state to fund any parents who want their kids to go to voucher schools, no matter the income. Meaning, whether you make $100,000 a year or whether you make $20,000 a year, you would have a voucher that says, here, I have the ability to go to a private school or a voucher school or a magnet school with this voucher, regardless of how much I make. It doesn't matter. And to everybody, you would think, wow, that's a great idea. That gives opportunity for low-income individuals who cannot afford to spend out-of-pocket money to go to a private school. That gives them the opportunity to work hard, to raise up their grades, to qualify to get into a private school, and give everybody equal opportunity. Not equal outcome, which is what they want, but equal opportunity. And that way you can get in depending on the work that you put into it. And Democrats say that's a bad thing, no matter their income. How dare you let low-income individuals come in and try and go to a private school? They can't afford that. You're talking about redistribution of wealth. You're talking about redistribution of vouchers. How dare you? Now, everybody pays into taxes, and the taxpayer money goes in to fund the public schools. And yes, some people put in more into the tax system than other individuals. And if you're on the government dime, then you're especially not putting your worth into the public education system, to the taxes. But guess what? Your kids are still going to public school, which means you're still getting the value of the whatever it is in your state, whether it's $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 per student. You're still having your kid go to school valued at that worth based on the taxpayer's rate at that time. Even for someone who makes $10,000, $20,000, $15,000 a year and doesn't pay a whole lot of federal or statewide taxes. So, apparently, according to Democrats, the only time that they don't like redistribution of wealth is when it's actually giving kids an equal opportunity. The only time they don't like redistributing somebody's wealth and giving someone a free handout, which would be a voucher, is when it actually benefits the kids. The only time they like it is when it puts a glass ceiling on top of them where it tells them that they're doing something and helping them out, but it really doesn't help them out. The only time they like it is when it benefits the elites to keep them away from the poor people, keep them away from the lower class, because we're handing you a paycheck just for you to be able to go and get groceries and for you to live, but you got to live in the Section 8 housing. You have to live in these terrible situations. You got to live in these terrible environments, but we're going to take care of you. Don't worry, the government's here for you. But when it comes to actually helping kids and giving them an opportunity, no. We don't want that. We need the separation here. We need the segregation. It's the class warfare all over. The rich people stay in their private schools. The poor people stay in their public schools. We don't want any interbreeding in between those two. Why? Because they don't want, as elites, the very elitist, narcissistic mentality here, they don't want those poor people having the same opportunities by being able to go to a school with a voucher and going to a private school. And it would take all the power away from the teachers' unions by being able to say, hey, we're going to keep these teachers here even though they're terrible teachers, or we're going to promote this certain agenda that's not really advancing them educationally, but hey, we're going to say we're here for the teachers and for the children. It takes all the power away from them, and they don't like that.
This is The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Andy Hooser here, reminding you not only can you listen to The Voice of Reason on your favorite radio station, but also check out the video of the program on TV and online. We're excited to be working with our partners over at OpsLens to bring The Voice of Reason live every day on their website at opslens.com, on the OpsLens app that you can download on any of your smartphones, or on any of the OpsLens social media. It's a great network that broadcasts multiple shows promoting truth, reason, and common sense, reaching thousands of viewers every day, all day long. Plus, while you're there, you can always watch some of the best highlights of the show during the weekends or read our latest opinion columns on topical issues of the day. Also, if you want to interact with me during the program, just leave a comment on their social media or the OpsLens app stream. You can always join the live chat rooms, or if it's easier, just email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Again, that's HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. This is your show, and we want to hear from you. Why? Because it's time for you to be your own voice of reason in your own community. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You want some more reason throughout the day? Well, now it's easier than ever to find. Here's what you do. Check out the website at HooserReason.com. There you can find past shows, links to all of our social media, special features, our monthly blogs, and a heck of a lot more. Plus, make sure to check in frequently, as we're constantly working to add more goodies that you'll really enjoy. Also, you can always subscribe and follow our social media sites for bonus content, articles that we use on the show, or maybe some additional rants. Yeah, it's all that and so much more. Check it all out at HooserReason.com. Looking for more reason? Well, now you can get even more content from the Voice of Reason through our Patreon site. It's your exclusive membership for being the ultimate Hoosier-holic. On our Patreon, you'll get additional interviews and content that we don't get to air on the radio, behind-the-scenes action from the Hooser Media Network, plus one-on-one video streams where you can catch up with me, guests of the show, and other great Voice of Reason supporters. Plus, you can also support the show by checking out our gear and swag. Find the link on our website at HooserReason.com. Again, that's HooserReason.com. Become the ultimate Hoosier-holic. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. As we continue to grow as a radio and TV program, we're continuously working behind the scenes to try and bring more common sense and reason to more patriotic Americans all over the country. That's why we're super excited to be working with the OpsLens team to bring you the voice of reason every single day. OpsLens is a national online network bringing you incredible content all day from hosts all over the country. And each host brings their own unique experience and expertise to the current events, reaching hundreds of thousands of patriotic Americans daily. Make sure to check out their website at opslens.com. Make sure to download the OpsLens website and follow them on all of these social media sites that you like, so you can watch all their live streaming content, including ours right here with the Voice of Reason. Plus, if you want more of the Voice of Reason, check out our website online at HooserReason.com. There you can listen to the live audio feed of the show every single day. You can read our monthly blog. You can check out our satire infomercials. You can see pictures of what we're doing, upcoming schedule of events, and a heck of a lot more. On the website, you can find our list of radio and TV affiliates in your area. Find our social media links, and while you're there, sign up for our free newsletter. Over the last 2 years, your Voice of Reason newsletter has grown exponentially. It's completely free, and in it we give you your monthly motivation, upcoming civic holidays for the month, a recap from the show from last month, upcoming guests on the program, along with the latest news from our Hooser Media Network. It's pretty simple. All you got to do is go to the website at HooserReason.com and become the next Hoosier-holic. Finally, follow us on all of our social media sites. With the iron grip control on content from the radical left, unless you follow us, you're not going to be able to see us. It's been an ongoing battle with shadow banning on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, where even our own fans are having a hard time finding our content. But the battle isn't over. We'll continue to bring you the best content we can on as many platforms as possible. You can follow us with the handle at Hooser Reason. No matter what social media site you like to use, you can find us there. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch.tv, Instagram, TikTok, OurFreedomBook.com, Parler, and of course our website at HooserReason.com. Don't miss it while we give you a heads up on some of the events that I may be attending or speaking at, updates of behind-the-scene projects, or just something sarcastic to try and rile up the left. The battle for freedom is real, and we want to be part of that battle, as we want you to be your own voice of reason in your own community. Conservative principles happen at the grassroots level, and that's what we're here to help with. And together, you and I can fight back against this virus that's spreading across the nation that is socialist policy, trying to destroy this country. We can bring us back to some constitutional values, some individual sovereignty, and the right for you to be able to make your own choices when you deem necessary for you, your family, and your community. In a world of fake news and information overload, it's time to bring back some reason, common sense, guidance, and a little bit of wisdom. And that's what we're here to do. This is the Voice of Reason.
Fighting for freedom every day. The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
I don't know if you noticed or not, but we could talk about education issues for hours on end. It's a fascinating conversation, and I'm glad we're having the conversation because we need to, with the lack of focus that we've had on public education for a very very long time. What's disturbing to me, though, is that we have so many that are all about the division between the two. Now, when I mean that we need the school vouchers, we need to be able to send our kids to public, private, charter, magnet, whatever else out there. The government, of course, is going to try and get their greedy little hands in to regulate them and say, well, now that you're accepting government money, now you have to go by our curriculum, by our standards, because we're here to help. We're from the government. Remember that? Yeah, well, the problem is, though, what we need to do is just send a check literally to the parents and say, obviously they can't spend it on something else, but say, hey, here's the amount of money you have available. What school are you taking them to? I'm going to take them to this school. Okay, boom. It's sent to them. Done. End of story. Do your thing. That's where you're going to go for this year. Why is that a big deal? Why is that a big struggle? It's all about control. It's weird. Like, it's the micro management. It's that boss that looks over your shoulder and wants to see everything that you're doing, everything that you write, every time you breathe, every time you take a sip of water. They want to know what you're working on to make sure that they micromanage and know exactly what you're doing at all times. Let us live our lives. Let us educate our children. We as the parents have the full choice. We as the parents have the full authority over our children. I should have the right to take my kid to any school that I want to. I should be able to have the right to take them anywhere that I want for their education, or to teach them how I want them to be taught, or at least go to a school that most aligns with my thought process or the quality or standards that I want them to be able to have. That includes the public, private, charter, whatever. That also includes the micro schooling that's starting to become a cool thing. Also the private schooling, also the homeschooling, whatever else is out there as an option. Why the heck not? It's that micromanagement, man. I'm still, by the way, disturbed about the whole equity versus equality thing, too, where whoever came up with that concept of, it's all about equity. Man, it's like we like to be bullied around. It's like we like to be in servitude. For example, the total control, it's either control or desperation. Not quite sure which one here as we get into our last story of the day real quickly. California is now looking at taxing people even for assets they have outside of the state of California. Now, I don't know the reasoning behind it other than they want some more tax money, but I think there's also a more devilish reason as well underlying of maybe just wanting complete control and wanting to change the world from within. This is kind of like the whole Missouri thing of trying to create civil lawsuits against people who try to go out of the state for abortion. Little excessive. Don't agree with that. Even though I don't like abortion, I don't think the state should be telling you what you do outside of their state lines. That's a little weird. But California wanting to now do the same thing as Democrats are looking to consider a wealth tax in the state, not just for the wealth that you have within the state lines of California, if you have a business or you just have money sitting in a bank or you have land or whatever else you have there. No. As early as 2026, the threshold for being taxed would drop, and those with the worldwide net worth exceeding $50 million would be hit with a 1% annual tax on wealth, while billionaires would still be taxed an additional 1.5% for worldwide net worth. If a business owner in California has land in New York, has a farm in New York, has rental property in New York or New Jersey or Montana or wherever else, you would not only be taxed for the property you have in California, but also a 1 to 1.5% tax as well for that wealth that's in that other state, that real estate, that land, that business, wherever it may be. Your headquarters, remember all the businesses moving out of the state of California, moving to here in Kansas, moving to Texas, moving to other places, dairy farms that were sick and tired of all the environmental BS from Gavin Newsom and the Democrats there. They're leaving the dairy farms from California and moving out. Remember Tesla with Elon Musk moving Tesla's headquarters out of California and to Texas? Oh, yeah, if they still resided and had a home in California, they would still be taxed for that business in California. Another level of stupid, not only for the tax revenue, because they're so bankrupt in the state from doing stupid initiatives that they need the tax money, and they bring in more and more money every single year, and they still can't get themselves caught up because they act like the federal government where they can just tax and just spend however they want to and think they're going to get bailed out by the taxpayers. But it's also the micromanagement. We don't like your business. We don't like what you're doing. It's harming the environment. It's harming the world around you, so therefore you need to pay an additional tax to the government while we turn it into a positive green investment of energy, of electricity, where we can shut it off when we don't want you to use it anyways. Welcome to California. Man, the world's a crazy place, man. I just want to go hibernate and get away from it all because these people are stupid. That does it for us today. Podcast jumps up in just a little bit. We got lots more to cover tomorrow. Big guests. We got a special guest lined up for you tomorrow involved with the Trump family. Hint, hint, wink, wink. We'll do that tomorrow on the program. Until then, be your own voice of reason. This is the Voice of Reason. I'm Andy Hooser. Have a great afternoon. We'll see you on the radio. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You know, when I get off the air every day, the battle for me against limited government, censorship, and even unfactual content is far from over. That's why now I'm so happy to say that the Hooser Media Network is giving you more opportunity to catch the voice of reason along with other great shows and podcasts. It's been a long time in the works, and now you can finally enjoy more great content, services, and topical shows. We're the safe space for alternative talk, information, and ideas that the mainstream media absolutely hates. From holistic and alternative medicine, discussions on religion and spirituality, pure entertainment shows, and of course yours truly with the voice of reason. Plus, we offer numerous media services, including helping you set up your own podcast. Become your own voice of reason and bring your expertise to any fun issue or topic. For information on all of our shows, links to podcasts, each show website or social media link, or to find out about everything we do to challenge the mainstream establishment, visit our website at HooserMedia.com. Again, that's HooserMedia.com, the future of media.